And hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking to ChatGPT, having a little discussion about vibe coding. We already started the conversation, and I am learning how to vibe code. I'm going to show you my process. So whenever I start something, I like to usually create a custom GPT to help me write better prompts. I've done these for writing in my tone and voice and different styles. And this is one that I started. So this is my prompt craft 2.0. This is how I started. I just write, improve this prompt. You are a professional coder and SaaS developer, blah, blah, blah. I give it a lot of information right here. Hey, chat, are you there?
Hey, welcome back. Yep, I'm here. How can I?
All right. So we're going to continue our discussion on vibe coding and building a custom GPT for that purpose. So right now I am in my prompt craft 2.0 writing the prompt, and I would like you to just listen to this prompt to get us started. The purpose of this prompt is to write a I want to build a custom GPT that helps me write prompts and or instructions to better vibe code to get what's inside my brain into the application to write the code for whatever purpose that is. So without further ado, I will just take a listen. Here's the prompt so far.
Great. Thanks for sharing your original prompt. Here's an improved version that is clearer, more structured, and optimized for performance and usability in a custom GPT system. Improved prompt. You are a professional full stack developer and SaaS architect with expertise in both front end and back end development. You also specialize in vibe coding, designing intuitive and emotionally resonant user experiences. Your task is to act as a system level guide for a custom GPT that helps users craft detailed, high quality prompts and instruction for building no code or low code SaaS applications, chatbots, AI agents, and automations. These platforms may include, but are not limited to, Lovable, Famous AI, Cursor, Windsurf, Bubble, Webflow, AppSmith, ManyChat, Bravo Studio, etc. System instructions for the GPT. Primary role: guide the user step by step through creating clear, complete prompts or specifications tailored to no code and low code platforms. Conversation strategy: ask one or two targeted questions at a time to gradually clarify the goal or purpose of the app or automation. Target audience and the problem it solves. Desired complexity, e.g., single tool versus multi agent system. Required capabilities, e.g., tool calling, logic branching, real time sync. Feature clarification prompts used selectively. Ask whether the user requires any of the following components: front-end UI, back-end logic, database layer, API integrations, REST SDKs, a two-way MCP, DevOps, cloud infrastructure, business logic and workflow automation, security and compliance, Q&A testing and debugging, billing, subscription management, CRM, marketing and analytics, multi-agent collaboration agents, actors with specific roles. Suggestion engine: offer best practice recommendations tailored to the user's chosen platform or use case. For example, recommend Bubble for database-heavy web apps. Suggest Bravo Studio for mobile UI-first experiences. Propose reusable component structures or logic models. Output format options: ask the user how they'd like their output. Bullet points for clarity. Platform-ready prompt text. Flow diagrams or logic trees if supported. Tone and guidance: use a clear, professional, and supportive tone. Provide helpful nudges. Would you like to include authentication or user roles? Clearly distinguish optional features from essential ones. Flexibility for platform constraints. Adapt guidance based on platform-specific limitations, e.g., Webflow's CMS model versus Bubble's backend logic. Would you like this prompt adapted into an actual system message for a GPT builder, like in OpenAI's custom GPTs or via the API, including formatting and persona definition?
Okay, so that is the prompt that we have so far. That is from Prompt Craft 2.0. I was going to take that prompt and then put it into another page, Chat GPT 3, and have it perform that prompt to build me system instructions to write uh, internal system instructions for that GPT. And the purpose of that GPT would be to help me write prompts for vibe coding for these different applications like Lovable and Cursor and Windsurf and Famous AI. What are your thoughts?
I feel like you're creating a really best system to make sure that you can all your ideas out of your head and into these different platforms seamlessly. It's a great approach, and I think having that custom GPT as a guide is going to sounds good. We can definitely pick this up whenever you're ready.
No, go ahead and continue your thoughts there. You cut out for a second.
I was just saying, I think you're a really big track for how you're structuring everything.
All right.
Having a custom
All right.
GPT to help you
Cool.
refine your.
So now go ahead and be really critical. Now put on your critical hat, and I want you to poke holes in this plan, and let's brainstorm some ways to make this a better, like everything that you heard, poke holes in it, be critical, and help me see what I'm not seeing here.
To consider is having a custom GPT to help with coding is going to rely heavily on the quality of the initial prompts and instructions you feed it. So if there's a lack of clarity in the initial input, it might not yield the results you're looking for. Another potential challenge is making sure the GPT understands the nuances of each platform, like cursor or windsurf. So you might need to do some additional fine tuning or customization. It can also be good to consider how you'll measure the effectiveness of the prompts it generates so you can iterate and improve over time.
Yeah, those are great points. And I think that I will include them in the custom instructions. I want this to be an iterative process where the custom GPT asks the user follow-up questions, like 1 or 2 questions at a time, to really clarify what their purpose is and what they're trying to do. And then also which applications they have access to and which ones they're using, like Lovable or Cursor. And we're just doing this in Grok or ChatGPT or any of the models that can do, essentially you could vibe code and to write code. Thanks, chat. So we put that on pause there. And I'm going to go ahead and take this prompt here. I cut and paste it so I can just, so I got the prompt, and then I'm going to go ahead and this here, and we'll see what it comes up with. So this is, I'm using ChatGPT 03. It's a good, strong thinking model. You can see here that I'm just reading, it was telling me its process. It tells you its thinking process, which is pretty cool. And it looked like it was asking me for some clarification, which I like. Instead of just spitting out information, it actually will be an iterative process and actually ask me for follow-up clarification. So here's some critical questions. So I'm not going to read all of this here, but quick take. Solid foundation, clear role, smart, one to 2 questions at a time, cadence, and a practical feature checklist. But right now, it reads more like marketing copy than rigorously specified system prompt. Several hidden assumptions will trip you up once the user starts throwing messy, half-baked ideas at it. Below is a teardown of the following concrete fixes, and then it gives me some ideas. All right, so this is what I like, and I do have it in my internal systems. I do have the instructions for ChatGPT to be critical of my assumptions and to challenge me, and that's something I put in my history. So it does that regularly, which I really appreciate. It doesn't just feed me what it thinks that it wants me to know. It challenges my assumptions and my thinking. But I had to customize the back end of that through my history. And then it's got some critical questions. So scope, sanity check, data, model, reality, user journey. There's 7 different questions. So I'm going to go ahead and answer those and then give a follow-up. So this is an iterative process. The purpose of this prompt right here is to write custom instructions, like system instructions for a custom GPT, which I will do next. So what I like to do is have an initial prompt, make that prompt, have a conversation, iterative process back and forth with LLM ChatGPT, the O3 model, and it's going to critique and then make system instructions a lot better. Then I'll find the finalized version of this will be a system instructions to build the custom GPT. And then the next step that for a future video will be us actually taking those system instructions and building that custom GPT after this iterative process. But this is usually the type of flow that I have of creating a good prompt to start with in my prompt craft 2.0, which was right here. I started with this. This is just my brain dump of prompts here, and then it gave me this prompt to start with, and I put that into O3 model, and then it's going to be another iterative process back and forth between chat and I, and then I can even have a second version of chat listen in on this as well, and then we'll take those custom instructions. So it's given me some custom instructions to put in here, it looks like, but let's go ahead and go down to the next 5 steps. Stress test with 3 user personas: a clueless founder, mid-level product manager, seasoned dev, track friction points. 2 is embed quick syntax validators, example, regex, check, or bubble data type, schema to cut downstream errors. 3, define success metrics. Okay, so there's some good information here. And again, I'm not a coder, I'm not a developer. I am learning on the fly here. and I'm learning. There's a lot of information. There's some stuff I don't understand, and I'll just ask ChatGPT to explain its reasoning to me, and it's great at doing that. But anyway, I'd like to share my journey of vibe coding, and whether you like that name term or not, I don't really care. It's just what it's what people call it. But the idea is that you don't have to necessarily be a coder to come up with a simple agent slash SaaS product or an application or even an automation anymore. You can create some pretty cool stuff just by having a back and forth with the LLMs. And I'm going to be using specific ones like Cursor, Windsurf, Lovable, and possibly Famous AI. I'll pick one, maybe two of those to build a minimum viable product, an MVP of an app that I'm trying to build. So, and I have a lot of different ideas for different apps. Let me know in the comments what are some apps that you think will be amazing. I've got a few, and I'll be sharing some ideas with you guys as well. And let's all level each other up together. But this is just the beginning. We'll continue this conversation. And the next step, again, will be to build this custom GPT. And that may be our next video we do. So I thank you for your time. Peace out, my rascals. I love you. And we'll talk to you soon.